Hello. Good morning, everyone. Hello. Welcome to day 3 of our Grateful Week. And I'm really excited that Nicole is here. So good morning, Nicole.
Good morning. Excited
And
to be here.
yeah, so Nicole is actually the brain power and organization behind this entire Grateful Week. So if you're loving the week, give a big hand in applause in the chat to Nicole. Tell us a little bit, Nicole, about your vision for this week of gratefulness.
Yeah, well, I'm Canadian, so this week isn't even my Thanksgiving, but it's a time that we kind of lead up to where everyone that I work with, everyone that I know in the States is taking time off and talking about their family and getting excited. And I'm kind of like, well, I sit back and I'm like, I've already done my thanks for the year with my Thanksgiving. And I really was thinking, I was like, what about sometimes, when I was growing up or when I was in university, like I couldn't go home for Thanksgiving. And I was able to be invited to other people's Thanksgiving and Friendsgiving and things like that. And I wanted to be able to bring a space where we could have the community come together and we could be each other's family because we were each other's family all throughout the year. And, I know even before I met you, Amelia, I felt like I knew you on the camera. And I know so many other people feel the same way. And with our programs, we do know people all over the world, all over the country. And this is a way that we can bring Thanksgiving and that grateful spirit to each and every household and each and every person. And especially if you can't be with your family this year, or maybe you are with your family and you want to take a break from your family, being able to do this and celebrate and also reflect and look back at the year and everything that you've accomplished, because sometimes you're a little too humble, in my opinion, and you don't like to talk about all the things that you've done and accomplished and people that you've helped. And I want to be able to showcase that for you and brag about you a little bit.
Yes, Nicole had so much fun digging through everything that we've done this year and pulling out some of the highlights. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the highlights on the YouTube channel. Yesterday, we managed to do the live from the barn, and Nicole and Lexi from my team were behind the scenes getting that to happen because it's a technological feat to make it happen from the barn. But if you missed that, please head over to our YouTube channel and you can watch the recording. Or we also have a Grateful page
Yeah,
where you
I put it in the chat.
awesome.
So you guys can get there.
Where you can see that. And then we also, on Monday, we had another session where I just shared a little bit about the things I'm grateful for. We've really enjoyed seeing all of your posts in Amelia's Dressage Club with #grateful. So if you'd like to share in the chat here one thing that you're grateful for this year, we always love hearing from you and sharing just this community and this attitude of gratefulness, because you can always look at it as the glass is half full or the glass is half empty. And when you look at that glass half full, it makes such a difference for your life and your attitude and your health and your happiness and all of that. So,
and we love learning about you guys, because guess what I learned this week? So we have two lovely ladies from Alaska in your program, Elizabeth and Janice, and I knew they were at the same barn. I didn't know they were mother and daughter, and they posted like grateful for being able to ride with my daughter and my life, and I was like, oh my God, that's so sweet. And like, I just love hearing the stories from everybody, because we get little bits and pieces and we know you guys. But when you tell us a little bit more about what you're grateful for, we have all these more connections, like me finding out that they're related.
That's very cool.
I love finding that out.
Yeah, it's so fun when you have friends or family that help and encourage and support you along in the riding journey, because it's a hard sport.
Oh,
And
yes.
if you have someone in your life that can encourage you, like for sure, I shared yesterday about my husband, Herman, that supports and encourages me. And that's wonderful. What about you, Nicole? Who's your biggest fan?
My mother is probably my biggest fan, and she listens to everything that you do, which is great. And she texted me on Monday and she said, I watched Amelia's Grateful Live on Monday. And I'm like, oh, that's wonderful, Mom. And she goes, she mentioned you. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I was like, she's my biggest supporter and my biggest fan, and I love her to bits. And I love how that she loves you and everything that you do as well, because it gives her something to think about. And she doesn't ride anymore, but she loves being able to see the horses and see the progress and the journey.
Yes. All right. Well, shall we dive into our
Yes.
YouTube channel?
Yes. So today we're going a little bit behind the lens, behind the camera, because most people know you from YouTube. They're like, oh, you're Amelia. You're the girl who makes those training videos on YouTube, or like you get sent somewhere, or it pops up on the algorithm, and they're like, what's this? Can you tell me a little bit about, or tell everyone a little bit about how that first started? Like, why did you start making videos on YouTube?
It was because of my brother. He's had a like this beautiful YouTube channel. He's definitely the artistic and creative brain in the family. And so he was making these beautiful horsey YouTube videos. And he was like, Amelia, you should start making YouTube videos. I challenge you. And I'm always up for a challenge. So I was like, all right, I'll start. And at first, if you go back in my channel and see the beginning videos, they're pretty embarrassing. I was like trying to vlog and like drive in my car, and like I would make these videos and like 2 people would watch them. And I was like, well, that kind of sucks. And then when I started making really distinct how-to videos, like how to get your horse to go forward, how to keep your heels down, how to hold the reins, then those videos started to get more and more views. And what got me hooked was when I started to get feedback from all of you, like, oh my gosh, that tip was so helpful, or I tried this exercise and I had the best ride ever with my horse. And then I knew that it was worthwhile to do it, because I've always wanted to be able to help as many horses and as many riders as I possibly can. And so I was quite amazed that the online videos would actually help people, but it's really cool that it has grown and evolved. And we have what now, over like 300,000
No,
subscribers.
it's more like 500. It's quite a few. So for those of you who don't know, every Wednesday, Amelia releases a new video. Some weeks it's twice, but it's every Wednesday without fail for the last 7 years. So it's been quite a few videos, and a lot of people have been talking the last few weeks. We've been asking people, what's your favorite video? What do you like best about them, and things like that. But take us a little bit behind the scenes. Like, you don't just like go out to, like, maybe at the beginning you did just like go out to the barn and we're like, I'm going to film a video on this. But can you take us through the thought process? Because you put a lot of effort and thought into these videos. Can you take us through that process?
Yeah, I mean, so normally at the beginning, what I used to do, like Nicole said, is I didn't really have a plan. And then I would beg my poor husband to video me, and he's kind of blind and not tech savvy at all. So that was a disaster. So now I'm lucky enough that I have someone, that Kane, who comes in, films for me. And then I have a video editor, Sylvia, who's a rider, and she does an amazing job of adding the graphics and the cuts and the slow motion. And so it's really evolved. But basically, what I do is I look at topics that I think you all would like. So, topics that are universal, topics that focus on things like rider position or specific exercises that I know could help you. I always try to keep the videos very simple and step by step, because riding is so hard. And if we make it overly complicated, then it's not going to work for any of us. We always focus a lot on the basics and the principles and the foundation of riding, because that's something, regardless of which level you are or regardless of your goals, that we all can glean from. And then usually I don't script out the whole video word by word, but I do jot down like the title and then 2 or 3 talking points per each video. I try to be creative with including different like visuals. So let me know in the chat if you enjoyed any of those. But we have some videos with a drone, some videos with GoPro, some videos with silly things. One time, remember, Nicole, when I made you wear the wings for flying change?
Oh yeah, for flying changes. That was fun.
We have a skeleton suit. We have a muscle suit. One time I put stickers on the side of the horse to show like where you push different buttons for the canter aid.
You've got the
So
unicorn that you put on the saddle for when you did the groundwork with Meg. You did
yes.
that one.
Oh, and
With the skeleton.
yesterday I filmed some videos with a unicorn horn that Stacy made for me. So I think it's fun to be creative and to help find different ways that I can show you things about your riding through visual, through video. It's amazing what we can do. And sometimes those funny little images or the silliness of it can really make an impression. So usually I try to video about 4 or 5 videos in one chunk, and then I process it, send it off to the video editor, and then you get to see them on the YouTube channel.
Yeah. And then the other thing to remember is, like you said, you make them a little bit, not universal, but you make it so it's applicable for the, the more novice rider, the intermediate rider, or the more advanced rider. There's not very many that are like, we're going to work on canter change, flying changes today, which some of them are, but a lot of them are even like, we're going to work on flying changes, but we're actually going to work on our canter transition. You make it so that everyone can still learn from the videos regardless of where they are in their journey, which is really great, and which I think is what makes them all really universal. And you've done a lot of videos, right? As we said. We wanted to go over what were the most popular videos of all time. And I want you to kind of tell me a little bit about them. So I pulled them out. So this is based on like number of views. And the top one was On the Bit with Quiet Hands, which was from December 2020. So like right in the middle of COVID, you released this video. And do you remember it at all? It's almost 6 years ago now. 5 years ago now, 6 years ago.
Not really. I'm sure if I watched it, I would remember it.
Yeah, it's a great video. It's about 12 minutes long. You talk about contact. You talk about how it's about bending the horse and getting them to the contact rather than just pulling back. And what I really like about it is that it's not a perfect horse doing it, right? It's not a horse that is already on the bit when you start the video. And that's so many of your videos are, they're real training. What I think, I like about them, and a lot of people like about them, is that when you have mistakes in them, you're like, ooh, that was a bad turn, let's redo that. Or, ooh, that was a bad you don't edit those things out. You keep the real life things that happen, which makes it relatable to all of us, because you might only have one oops moment in 10 minutes, but we might have 7 or 8. And so it makes us feel a little bit better that you're relatable. It's not all perfect and roses. And so that was one of the most popular ones. The other one was Stop Nagging Your Horse. Can you tell us about the Stop Nagging Your Horse exercise?
That's a good one, because I think we're all guilty of nagging. We want so badly to do everything perfect, and sometimes it's important to remember to like do less, take your leg off, and then fix it if you have a problem, rather than constantly just annoying your horse. So basically that video is about, I think the first step is awareness of like, are you nagging, right? You're riding around and all of a sudden you're like, why am I kicking my horse every stride? So step 1 is become aware of your nagging problem. Then you do need to push your heels down and take your leg off, which a lot of riders don't do, because they say, but if I do that, then my horse is going to slow down or my horse is going to stop. And yes, that's true. You have to go through that in order to break the habit. So you push your heels down, your horse slows down. Then what you need to do is speed your horse a little bit extra than you were going before, so that there's a little bit of a consequence. Like, hey, no, now you have to go extra fast, and then take your leg off again, until the goal is that your horse is like on cruise control, that you set your horse at a certain trot tempo and that they stay at that speed until you tell them to slow down or speed up. And that really is something that's so fundamental for riding, because if you're always having to tell your horse to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, it exhausts you. And it also numbs your horse to your aids, where then you can't move on to doing anything else. Like you can't do a canter transition or a leg yield or any of those other fun things, because you're just trying to maintain the energy and the speed that you have. So I can let us know in the chat who is guilty of nagging. I know I am.
Sometimes we all are a little bit.
Yeah.
But it goes back to, like you said, if you're always pushing your horse forward, you all of a sudden can't use your legs for the other things you want to do, like the bending, like the leg yield, like the circle turn, like the flying change, whatever it is. And it sneaks up on you, right? So you've got to work on that. The other video, the third one that was the most popular, was Turn the Saddle, Not the Bridle. Tell me about that saying.
That was a really good one. I was thinking we need to do some more. Like, I was thinking this morning, I was like, what are some cool visuals we could do for that? But I think we all fall into that trap. And when you first learn to ride, you kind of learn to just like pull on the inside rein to get your horse to turn. But as you become more advanced, you start to realize that what happens if you pull on the inside rein is that your horse overbends in the neck, they drift to the outside. And then, especially as you move up the levels, as you're cantering, for example, or as you want to start working on straightness and connection, you realize that you actually want the turn to come more from your body positioning, from your outside leg, and then from your outside rein, because that way your horse is able, it helps your horse to stay more balanced and connected through the turn. So that video is a good example of something so simple, like turn the saddle, not the bridle. So that's like one sentence thing that's a very complicated concept, like that I just took 2 minutes to explain. So if we can make things simple like that, where like that's a picture in your mind, and then next time when you're riding, you're like, hey, wait, turn the saddle, not the bridle. And then it makes such a big difference in your riding. So we're all about keeping things simple here and really making the content approachable and applicable to help you with your horse.
Yeah, I love that. So with that, those are our top 3 based on like how many people have viewed them. What was your favorite video that you filmed this year?
It's hard. They're all like such a blur in my mind. But I think one of my favorite ones is the Mix series, which I started I started filming it like 2 or 3 months ago when I first got Mick. But I like to do different things. I know I drive Nicole crazy sometimes because I'm like, Nicole, I have this new idea. But I've been doing the YouTube channel for like 5-6 years now with really the how-to educational. And of course, we're going to keep doing that because I know that that's what really helps you all the most. But I was like, I want to show a little bit more of the real, like behind the scenes training, like what I go through with developing a horse, bringing it up the levels. And the idea is to help give you a little bit of encouragement and understanding of the process and the emotions and the ups and downs and the struggle and the enjoyment and the partnership that you develop with a horse. So that has been really fun for me to just do something a little bit different. Let me know in the chat if you enjoy the Mix series so far, because I think it's fun to have a little bit of mix of things. And one thing that I really want for our sport overall is, my mission is dressage for all, and I want it to be inclusive and encouraging and fun. But I also want to be able to show some of the real stuff, not just the perfect stuff, but some of the real training and the understanding of it is a process, and you have good days and you have bad days, and sometimes things work and sometimes things don't work. And it's important to understand that process and not just the highlight reel that we see on social media.
Yeah, I love that. And so with that, we have some changes coming to the channel for 2026. Not major changes, no panics. Don't panic anyone, not major changes. So we have a big announcement coming tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day, 8 a.m., which is astronomically the biggest thing that I think we've done all year. But the other little change that's coming is we're still going to be releasing videos every Wednesday, but can you change a little bit? Can you tell us a little bit about how that's going to look going forward?
Yeah, so we're still going to do our weekly Wednesday videos. And then we're also going to continue with some more of the behind the scenes, some more of the Mix series, bringing in some of the other horses that I have here in training with me, which I think is really important. So we're going to be doing both things. We're still giving you like the step-by-step how-to training, but then also bringing you a little bit more behind the scenes. We have some big changes coming up in the year ahead, and just showing a bit more of that journey and that process, really as a way to keep you inspired and keep you excited about it. And, we're all at different phases of this journey. Some of you are just starting out and understanding like what is dressage. Some of you maybe aren't even dressage riders and you just enjoy jumping or trail riding or Western. If you want to type in the chat what you feel like is your main discipline, that would be awesome. But so I'm excited to kind of show you both of those things, and then also keep showing you the journey with some more of the behind the scenes training, so you can really understand the process of training a horse, how long it takes, the setbacks and the solutions. That's Mick, setbacks and solutions, because I know that we've had a lot of successes and progress, and we've also had some setbacks, and that's just part of life.
Well, yeah. And I think one of the things, like you said, you've been doing the training videos, for a long time, many, many years. And what I've seen some of the footage of the mix series that hasn't been released yet. And what I think is really cool is that in the videos where you're showing the training, you're doing the exercises that you've been showing people for the last several years on YouTube. So when you film those YouTube videos, you're not doing it on like a horse that's learning it. It's the horse has some understanding of the concepts so that you can actually showcase it, and in the 12-minute period, right? Yeah. But then this is actually the nitty gritty of like, the horse has made a mistake. How do we correct this? Not the when this happens, do that, because you are known for showing that of you'll find this happens, but you have to have a horse that you can ride and manipulate a little bit to have those educational videos be short and sweet.
Yeah.
And now the mix series and seeing the other horses and their progress, it's about the nitty gritty of this is it. This is where it's happening. It's a little bit more unedited. It's a little bit more raw. And I think that's a very vulnerable place for you to be as well, because it's showcasing behind the scenes and what's going on and the setbacks that sometimes we experience. So it's a very, very generous thing that you're doing, opening up your barn essentially to allow us to see behind the scenes. We had a couple weeks ago, we had a few people come to the barn to see you ride, and to some of the clients that we have online, and they just sat by the ring all day. And I was like, maybe they're going to get bored. Are we going to have to do anything else? And they just absorbed like 6 hours of you riding and training the horses, because it is fun and educational and enjoyable. And so I think people are going to really like this new step. And so we're still going to have the training videos, but once or twice a month on Wednesdays, you're going to get a Mick video or another horse setback and solutions video as we go, because we've got some new horses coming into the roster, which is very exciting. Some of you guys are aware of them, some of them aren't. So it's going to be a really fun year, and it's going to change it up a little bit, but I think it's going to be good, and it's going to be fun for everybody.
Yes. Give us a thumbs up if you're excited for 2026. We just have so much in the pipeline, so many exciting things planned, and we're kicking off boot camp this year, December 31st through January 4th. So save the date for that. I always do an annual goal setting boot camp. So we're going to be doing goal setting on the 31st. We're getting ahead this year.
We're getting ahead.
Yeah. And it's just, it's fun. I love this community. I love the team that I have, and it's fun to help you along and encourage you on your journey. And I think it's like a feedback loop, like the cycle of learning where we're helping you, but then you all inspire and help us and encourage us. So that makes it really fun.
Yeah. And we've got a few comments in the chat, some people saying, love that, love perfect horses, love seeing more like mine and how to cope with them. And Jane is saying she's reining and ranch riding background, interested in learning Western dressage. Linda saying, please show a spooky horse. Linda, we have spooky horse videos on the YouTube channel. You did this great video with Mercurio I don't know if you guys have seen it this year. She dressed up a scarecrow in the wind with like things flying off of it, and she made Mercurio like ride by it, and Mercurio was like, what is this?
He wasn't. I thought he was going to be more scared. He was not that impressed.
He's a good boy. He's learned to trust you in the confidence. So we have a few spooky videos on the channel. But it's always fun and hearing your suggestions about what videos you'd like and things like that. So with that, we're going to let you go for the day, I think, Amelia. But tomorrow, everybody be sure to tune in, 8 a.m., Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. Really big announcement. I am so insanely proud of you. I know you're feeling a little bit shy about this announcement, but I'm so insanely proud of you of what's going on. And so I can't wait for you to announce it tomorrow. Please tune in, everybody. You guys will be excited. It's the next step. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, it's very fun. It's an amazing platform that we built, and it's an amazing position to be in to be able to give back and help and feel super grateful. So we have that coming Thursday, and then Friday morning at 8 a.m. I'm doing the Independent
Mhm.
Seat webinar. So if you'd rather talk about horses than go shopping for Black Friday, I hope to see you on Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you get to spend a little bit of time with your horses and your family this holiday season. So thank you, Nicole, for